Hi YouTube, this is Joe Calton with Calton Cutlery. You can visit me on the web, caltoncutlery.com. So today I'm going to do a pocket dump. Erica from Erica's EDC did a kind of a overview of one of my pocket knives, and then she asked what everybody was carrying. So I told her what I was carrying for the day, and she asked me to do a pocket dump. So I didn't really know that was a thing for knife makers, but I guess it is. So let's see. Let's turn you down here a little bit so you can see the Benchtop. Let's see. I have got so that's what's in my pockets right there. We got a wallet, regular old wallet. Nothing's fancy about that. Set of keys with the little bitty Princeton Pulsar key light thing, the squeezy types. I really like the squeezy types because they, as soon as you let go, they turn off. So the ones with the little switches on there, I've had them turn on my pocket and run the battery down. And these ones right here I like quite a bit better. Little bitty pill container. The little True Night T13V2, awesome little bitty flashlights. They're a single AAA battery, and then they've got three modes: low, medium, and high. The knurling on these is I thought a little bit aggressive when I first bought it, so I just chucked it up in the drill press and then held it up to a little bit of sandpaper on a sanding stick, and then just knock the tops of that knurling off to where it's a little bit more pocket friendly, and works really good. I've had this one for a couple of years now or more. So now we get into the knives. So there's a couple of different classes of knives that knife makers carry, or at least that I carry and several of my knife maker friends type carry. They're the knives you absolutely cannot live without, that you've carried for a long time, and they are your favorite. Cost is not really an option, right? There's prototypes and screw-ups. Okay, so since we're knife makers, we're constantly making new knives, playing with different steel types or geometries or different actions or different classes of knives, whatever. Sometimes you just have a knife that you made and you screwed it up somehow or other, so you can't really sell it to somebody, but it's a little bit too nice of a knife just to throw away, so you stick it in your pocket and you carry it around for a little while until you decide what to do with it. And then travel type knives, and one of these falls into that, and that is knives that they're basically beaters and throwaways, right? So that if the airport loses your luggage again, you're really not going to lose any sleep over it. When you get to wherever you're going and you find out they lost your bag, you just go to the store and grab another one. So the I cannot live without types, the Victorinox Tinker, right? Absolutely one of the best in its class. You can see that this one right here, I've worn the blade down probably 1/8 of an inch, if not more, in the width. I've had this one for quite a long time. The little bitty blade I reshaped and then thinned out to make it a little bit better for detailed cuts and whittling. One really cool thing about this that I just picked up is I think they called it a Firefly, and it's a little bitty mini ferro rod, and it fits inside the toothpick holder on the side. Now the best way I found to use this is to take your can opener blade, and then I usually do this like down on a bench or something, but it's a tiny little thing, but boy, I think with the proper technique, and reasonable type use, it's a pretty handy little fire starter. Next one, this is the knife that I can't live without, really. I've carried this one, well, I've got two of these, the Benchmade 940. The overall package, I love it. I don't think that there's anything that you could do to make the overall package better. They're Benchmade's blade steels. I've had one in 154 CM, wore it out, sent the whole knife back, and for 25 bucks they sent me a new one in S30V. The second one that I had, that I was carrying, that I bought kind of in between at the last little bit of the first one's life, and then before I realized that you could just send them back and get another blade, I bought it. It was an S30V. What's left of that blade, it's ground down to about there or so. It's hanging up on the wheel here. Here's the blade in S30V. You know, I understand production knife companies tend to run blades a little bit on the soft side, but this one never really did take an edge that I liked, and it never really held it for very long either. So I was constantly sharpening the thing, and so, you know, I reground it several times, and then so finally I just made a new blade. I made several of them, a couple in Damascus. This one's out of 1095 high carbon steel with my multiple quench on it, and it's been doing really, really good. So now I got the best of both worlds, the best overall package, and honestly one of the best steels out there as far as I'm concerned. That's a knife that has been in my pocket pretty much consistently for 15, 20 years, something like that. The prototype tester type. This right here is my very first slip joint pocket knife that I've made that has the one blade out of each end. Okay, it's the main blade, and I should have brought it in. It's in the house, but it's very, very similar to this. I want to say it's a charade, and it is just a very classic pocket-friendly type of knives. I mean, you guys know that I make a lot of the little 3-inch Skagel style pocket knives, right? They're just the single blade slip joints. If I'm not testing something, then that is generally what's in my pocket with my keys, just for, you know, just kind of a third little blade. I mean, I just love these things. They have an awful lot of cutting power and performance in such a little bitty package. And that size goes great with that little bitty flashlight. And so I'm trying to keep these little slip joints really, really short, so that, you know, because invariably a pocket knife without a clip is going to turn sideways in your pocket. And if it gets too long, it just weird. All right, so I wanted to kind of keep around that size. And this one is right about there. It's a little bit longer than that 3-inch Skagel pattern, but you get 2 blades out of it, and it's really, really thin. This is 2 blades on a single spring, 3/32 inch spring, and so you get the main knife, and then you get the little bitty, you know, the little bitty blade, which I copied this off of the Victorinox Tinker blade that I reshaped. I like it quite a bit. So anyway, so it's got 2 blades and 1 spring, and you can see they've got some pretty serious offset grinds to be able to fit both blades inside the case in one single spring thickness. It's got brass soldered on bolsters, front and rear, and then it's got bone covers with the little bitty hammered out arrowhead shield. And then this one's got proud pins, because I kind of like the proud pins. They kind of give a little bit, you know, a little bit more texture to the knife, a little bit of indexing there. I don't know, I kind of think they're cool. So anyway, this is my my kind of tester of this particular pattern. I typically test patterns for something like this. You know, I think I've had this in my pocket now for about 4 or 5 months. And it's, you know, it's telling me an awful lot about this pattern before I start making them to sell to the general public, because typically when I release a pattern, I've tested it pretty good, because I don't want you guys to have any kind of surprises, right? I mean, like nasty surprises. And this one I'm really liking quite a bit. About the only thing that I'm not liking, that it honestly doesn't bother me very much, but it would bother some other folks, and that is blade rub. And to get both of these blades inside that case nestled together, and to have the package so slim, I don't see how I'm going to get away from having some sort of a blade or case rub inside there, because I mean, there's just not a whole lot of room in there. But I'll carry it for another couple months, make a couple more, and see what happens. So the last one, the tester type, tester / traveling knife. I've got a trip coming up here in the next couple of months, I'm going to take my wife to the beach, and you know, beaches have got salt water. Well, this is, you know, an ocean type beach, and we're flying there. And so I really am not going to trust one of my Benchmades to you know, the airlines. I mean, maybe if I bought a brand new Benchmade that I didn't have any kind of history with, you know, if I lost it, I really wouldn't cry over it or anything. But one of my Benchmades that I've got 10 plus years in, yeah, I'd rather not. And we're going to go to the beach, so you know I'm going to be swimming in that, right? So we're going to see how a full stainless knife works out. And I decided I'd do something completely and totally different. Every once in a while, you got to do that. So I've never owned a Spyderco. I always thought that this big old gaping hole in the side and how wide it is compared to a nice slim package of the 940 was just kind of awkward. But I thought, you know, let's give it a shot and find out. And I don't really like how wide the blade is. I like a narrower blade because it helps in turning type cuts. And this is also in VG10 stainless steel, which I have never tried VG10 stainless steel. I've tried 440C, my 440C, which are totally different animals, ATS 34, 154 CM, and S30V. And, you know, well, I carry mostly high carbon 1095, if that kind of lets you know, what I think about the other ones. But anyway, so I'm really excited to see how this one's going to work. So far, there's a couple things I really love about it and a couple of things that I don't particularly care about it. And I'm probably going to do some videos on this, but I really like that full height, thin grind. This is 20 thousandths behind the edge, which for a production knife, that's really awesome as far as what I've seen. Now, I usually run about 10 thousandths behind the shoulder of an edge, even on a, you know, a full-size EDC like this. Little bitty Skagels like this can be 5 thousandths behind the edge. So it's a nice thin grind. It's got a nice tapered blade on it. It's got a really pointy point. It needs deburred pretty much. And I'm probably going to do a video on that here in the next couple of days. The texturing is really, really aggressive. I can feel it pulling on the inside of my pocket when I pull the knife out. The spine here, these sharp edges on the spine, there's not really any call for that. But the only sharp edge you should have on a knife is the edge itself, not the spine, not any, you know, inside here needs deburred and softened. The checkering needs softened. The inside of the pocket clip, I'll probably take that off and soften up the inside of that just so that it doesn't rip the heck out of the corner of my pocket. But overall, I'm really liking the knife. I mean, it's taken a little bit of getting used to do it one-handed. It's been a while since I carried a back lock, but I'll get used to it and I'll run it for that little trip. I'll go swimming in the ocean with the thing, and then I'll come home, and if I continue to like it, why then it'll be my new travel knife. And if I don't, why then it'll go in the box with however many other knives that I've got that I don't use. So anyway, I think that's about all that's in. Oh, wait. It's gardening season. I usually carry one of these. Well, honestly, I carry one of these year-round pretty much here around the shop. This is one of my Slingshots. This one is a little on the fancy side. It's got it's 3-layer micarta pinned together with nickel silver pins. It's got built-in clips so that you don't have to wrap and tuck. This is green GZK elastic, 0.66, 28 to 17 if I remember right, and 150 mil start length with a GZK purple 9.5 pit locating pouch, shooting 9.5 mil steel. These things, if you're a gardener, you know, the sparrows are constantly in the garden. They're constantly in the chicken coop. So this gets pressed into service for sparrow and starling control, and then the little 13 striper gophers are starting to come up, and those things will tear the heck out of the root systems on your fruit trees, and so they get done that. During hunting season, taking plenty of cottontails with these. They're just an awful lot of fun. So anyway, I think that's my pocket dump. So again, this is Joe Calton with Calton Cutlery. You can visit me on the web, caltoncutlery.com. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we will see you next time.